boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Free speech is dead in this country, guys. It is dead and gone. And I don't think that is coming back, okay? I really don't. Because this situation right here with Kyrie Irving is absolutely insane, okay? It's absolutely insane. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the Kyrie Irving situation, Spark Notes. Kyrie Irving posted a link to a documentary on his social media that is deemed to be anti-Semitic, right? It is deemed to be offensive to Jewish people, okay? And of course, the mainstream liberal media and the mob got upset, right? They got upset about his post, and they started to question Kyrie about the post, and Kyrie was not having any of it, as he essentially put a woke journalist, ESPN journalist, in his place for essentially trying to coach and lecture Kyrie on what he can and cannot post on his own social media accounts.
To follow up on the promotion of the movie and the book.
Can you please stop calling it a promotion? What am I promoting?
Put it out on your platform.
But I'm promoting it? Do you see me in front of the title?
By putting it out there, people are going to say that you are promoting.
Yeah, I put it out there just like you put things out there, right?
Yeah, but it's not.
You put things out there for a living, right?
Right, but my stuff is not.
So let's move on.
Filled with anti-Semitic.
Let's move on. Don't dehumanize me up here.
I'm not doing that.
Another human being. I can post whatever I want. So say that and shut it down and move on to the next question.
But Kyrie, you have to understand that I
don't have to understand anything from you.
It's not me.
Nothing.
It's
no people that you're making up, bro. Move on.
But by posting what you did.
Move on. Next question.
Anybody
do you guys have any more questions for me?
And they're going to say,
you guys have any more questions? Because this is going to be a clip. This is going to be a clip that he's going to marvel at. Is this any more questions?
But you're not answering the question.
Oh, this is another answering your question. Oh my God, let's make another Instagram clip so we could be famous again. Next question.
Kyrie, basketball related.
And of course, this act of defiance enraged the mainstream liberal media, as there were calls for Kyrie Irving to be suspended.
On the other hand, Kyrie Irving, star of the Brooklyn Nets, he's out there flirting with anti-Semitism, continues to play. How do you think celebrities who spew bigotry, people who have platforms, should be treated? What kind of consequences should there be?
I just, it makes me wonder, like, who told them this stuff? How did this get into their heads in the first place? I mean, on one side, you could say maybe we shouldn't take anything that these guys say seriously. I mean, if you see someone ranting and raving on the street corner, you're not necessarily holding them accountable for their words. But on the other hand, these are very specific. I mean, and I don't think Kanye West is a stupid person, and I don't think Kyrie Irving does think the world is flat, so that should be taken into consideration. But
he went to Duke, though. He's pretty smart.
Well, he went to Duke. Would he have gone to Duke had he not been a great basketball player? That's for the admissions people at Duke. But it might be time to take his diploma back.
I think the NBA dropped the ball.
In what way?
I think he should have been suspended. I think Adam should have suspended him. First of all, Adam's Jewish. You can't take my $40 million and insult my religion. If you're going to insult me, you have the right, but I have the right to say, no, you're not going to take my $40 million and insult my religion. I think the NBA, they made a mistake. We have suspended people and fined people who have made homophobic slurs, and that was the right thing to do. I think if you insult the black community, you should be suspended or fined heavily, depending. I saw they did the same thing to the kid in Minnesota this year when he made the gay slur. I think you should get suspended or fined.
You have to be aware of what you're doing. And you have to be aware that sometimes when you put stuff out, not everybody's going to like it. Some people are conscious, some people are not. I could tell he's not conscious. He doesn't really care what's going on. But us, I know that the game that we used to love and we promote, it brings people together. And it hurts me sometimes when we have to sit up here to talk about stuff that divides the game. Now we got to answer for what this idiot has done.
Yeah, so you guys seen that, you heard that. Kyrie is not just getting backlash from the sports media. He's also getting backlash from the political media as well. So following this backlash, Kyrie Irving issued a statement, a joint statement with the Nets, and he is mysteriously pledging $500,000 to the ADL to fight hate causes in response to this. Now, here's the thing. I don't personally believe that Kyrie Irving is doing this as a volunteer. I think that this is something that he was put up to by the Nets. He was probably forced to do it as a way to try to cool down all the backlash that he's getting for not necessarily even comments that he made, just a link to a documentary on Amazon. Again, all this is about him posting a link to a documentary on Amazon. Okay, he has to pay $500,000 to the ADL. The ADL, I don't know why, right? This seems to me to be extortion, but hey, this is what is happening here, right? Let's read a little bit. Kyrie Irving released a joint statement alongside the Brooklyn Nets and the Anti-Defamation League on Wednesday, addressing his promotion of an anti-Semitic film on his social media. Irving and the Nets each agreed $500,000 towards causes and organizations that work to eradicate hate and intolerance in our communities. Irving acknowledged the, quote, negative impact of my post while stating that he doesn't believe everything said in the documentary was true. This statement does not include an apology. Yeah, so again, what they're looking for here is for Kyrie to get on his feet and grovel. It's not enough to give $500,000 to ADL, which in my opinion is an organization that should be defunded. All of these organizations that are working to promote censorship, that are anti-free speech, should all be defunded because they are working to undermine the First Amendment. Okay, they're trying to subvert the Constitution. Okay, they are working against free speech. They are anti-American. So I don't agree with these organizations. I don't agree with Kyrie Irving giving up $500,000, $500,000 for posting a link to a documentary. Again, that's on Amazon, right? Kyrie is catching more backlash for posting a link to a documentary than Amazon is getting for hosting the documentary, okay? Or the book that the documentary is based off of. So in my opinion, all this attention that the mainstream liberal media is giving to Kyrie and his documentary is actually promoting the alleged hate speech that they claim they don't want promoted, but they are inadvertently promoting it by continuing to talk about this. Because if they didn't talk about this, I would have never heard of this, right? This is not a story I would be covering if not for the media backlash. But again, it did not stop there because like I told you guys, they want him to apologize. They want him to get on his hands and knees and to give a groveling apology for the sin of posting a link to a documentary. Again, the same woke reporter asked Kyrie today, again, after the $500,000 donation to the ADL, asked him, does he hold any anti-Semitic beliefs? And this is what his response was.
Are you sorry for the hurt that your post caused people?
I'll take my responsibility for posting that. Some things that were questionable in there, untrue. Like I said, and the first time you guys asked me when I was sitting on that stage, I don't believe everything that everybody posts. It's a documentary. So I'm taking my responsibility.
It seems like Adam Silver wanted to hear the word "I apologize," or in your mind, you said, "I didn't mean to cause any harm." Were you apologizing, or did you not apologize?
I didn't mean to cause any harm. I'm not the one that made the documentary.
Do you have any anti-Semitic beliefs?
Again, I'm going to repeat. I don't know how the label becomes justified because you guys ask me the same questions over and over again. But this is not going to turn into a spin around cycle of questions upon questions. I told you guys how I felt. I respect all walks of life and embrace all walks of life. That's where I sit.
Yeah, so in regards to that last question about whether or not Kyrie Irving has anti-Semitic beliefs, Kyrie's answer there, that's basically the only answer he can give, despite it being a yes or no question, because regardless of what he says, he's going to get nailed by the media. If he says no, and he elaborates on what his beliefs are, his specific beliefs, they're going to call him anti-Semitic, right? So again, it's like a no-win situation. Kyrie already knows that he can't win in that situation. So, I mean, that's just the way he's handling the reporters at this point, okay? Which I think is actually pretty good, considering that, again, they are questioning the guy about his freedom of speech and beliefs, okay? Beliefs that he's not personally harming anybody. He's not, committing any crimes. He's not doing any of that. He just has beliefs that are his beliefs. And I think in this country, you should have the right to have beliefs that you want to hold, even if people don't agree with those beliefs. But apparently we don't live in that country. You're not allowed to freely believe what you want to believe. And the Nets seem to agree with that, as they have suspended Kyrie Irving. Okay, he's suspended after the NBA essentially came out and said that they're disappointed in Kyrie's non-apology. So let's actually read about this, because I got a whole lot to kind of say about this. So let's read here. The Brooklyn Nets have suspended Kyrie 5 games without pay after a turbulent week in which the All-Star posted an anti-Semitic video on Twitter and declined to apologize, the team announced Thursday. After reportedly spending the last several days trying to help Irving understand the film contained deeply disturbing anti-Semitic hate, the Nets said they were dismayed. Irving had failed to say he holds no anti-Semitic beliefs when asked on Thursday, and such a failure made him unfit to be associated with the organization. Irving will reportedly be suspended until he satisfies, quote, a series of objective remedial measures that address the harmful impact of his conduct. Wow, this is crazy, bruh. It almost sounds like they're sending him to a reprogramming camp, right? They're going to reprogram him because he doesn't have the right beliefs. Absolutely incredible stuff. So I want y'all to understand, this is the NBA. This is the NBA. This is the same NBA that refused to suspend anybody for kneeling for the national anthem. So you can come out here as an NBA player. I want you to understand. You can come out as an NBA player and express hateful beliefs towards the country as a whole. Say that you hate America, America's systemically racist, yada, 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 cops are evil, right? All types of crazy stuff. That, in my opinion, has actually resulted in real world violence. Okay, look at what happened with the BLM protest. Okay, all that stuff was fueled by the NBA, the anthem protest, all that stuff. You can make an argument. They won't suspend you for that because of freedom of speech, which, even though at the time it was explicitly prohibited by the NBA. You could not kneel for the national anthem. You can't do demonstrations during the national anthem. That was a NBA rule. But it's also people's freedom of speech to say, hey, I don't agree with that, right? They're the fans. Okay? But the fans were called racist, right? They would say, you're racist. Oh, you don't support freedom of speech, blah, 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 blah. And they never expected or required the players to give an apology to the fans that they offended. Okay, so NBA doesn't care if you offend the fans by kneeling for the national anthem, by disrespecting the country. They don't care if it offends the fan. You won't be forced to apologize. You won't be forced to apologize. And you won't be fined either. And if you guys remember, LeBron James also put out a tweet in which you can say that he was targeting a police officer after a police officer saved the life of a young black girl who was about to be stabbed to death. No suspension, no punishment. Nobody really had much to say about that, right, from the NBA. But when it comes to Kyrie Irving tweeting a link to a documentary, he has to pay a $500,000 fine, and he's suspended for 5 games until he gets remedial help. As if he has some type of mental illness because he has wrongthink, right? According to the mainstream liberal media. Again, it's absolutely amazing. You can openly hate this country. You can openly hate white people. You can talk about white supremacy all day, right? White supremacy. But if you say some of these same things about other minority groups, all of a sudden you're a bigot. You're hateful. You're racist. You're this, you're that. And it's just like, again, I want somebody to tell me, how does this work? Are you just not allowed to have certain beliefs about minority groups, but you're allowed to say or have whatever beliefs that you want about whites? Is that how this works? Right? Somebody tell me how this works. And Christians too. Throw Christians in there as well too. You're allowed to say or have whatever beliefs you want about Christians, but if it comes to other, religious minorities, nah, you can't. That's off limits. Again, it's just kind of amazing how free speech has shaped itself in our society. What is deemed to be acceptable and not acceptable. It doesn't seem like there's much equality going on here. It seems like there is a double standard. And again, this, in my opinion, the worst part about it is not just that it's anti-free speech. What's happening here, what they're pushing, is also hypocritical, considering the type of speech that is accepted in mainstream liberal media that we hear every single day towards certain groups of people. I'm just trying to figure out what the standard is here. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what it is. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.